Hello everybody and welcome to the next part of restoring the Kubota B2100 compact tractor. So as you can see, everything is incredibly rusty. The whole purpose of this video is hopefully going to be to get rid of all of this rust, eliminate it all with rust converter and get everything primed ready for the top coat of painting. So what I need to do first of all is get everything out of the way. The wiring loom is cable tied, some of them are reusable, some of them aren't, to this bracket. This bracket is there mainly for the fenders, but the seat plate also does a fit to these, so they are important. We can't go without them, but they do need to be removed for the sanding down process. So this is the first one, which I'm removing at the moment, and then we've got the rear one as well. I think the rear one is actually going to require an impact wrench with the correct Allen head. Don't mind the pheasant. So I'm going to use a twist knot wire brush to get rid of all of this rust. So yes, as predicted, these are very stuck, so I'm going to use a impact socket to remove them. So with that out of the way, it's going to make it much easier to sand everything down and repaint it. Right, so what I'm doing here is applying the rust converter. This basically eats away at the rust and it should leave a surface which is like a primer, but I don't think it's good enough just to paint straight on top of, so I am going to prime it properly as well. Okay, one day later, and the rust converter has done its thing. This is 2 layers that have been on here. There is still some tarnishing, so I'm going to have to apply more in some areas, but the rest of it needs to be primed straight away. The annoying thing is, I don't want to prime it yet, but being in the winter, and this being outside, even if it's covered over, it still rusts. So I am skipping ahead here, which I don't want to do. But yeah, the primer is just going to have to be applied. So that is the first layer of primer. I think I'll do 2 coats, and some of it doesn't look incredibly smart, but all of this is hidden. As long as it's rust proof, that is mostly what matters. Down here you can see where the rust used to be. It's left a few bits of pitting in some areas, but on the whole it is going to be a lot better than what it used to be. Now, this is again another day later. We need to focus on this side of the tractor. This is where basically the forward and reverse pedal is. This is a horrible side. Everything is severely damaged. The forward and reverse pedal is going to be completely replaced, costing £320. Yep, I know, just for a bit of metal. So yeah, got to remove everything first of all to get to this pedal. So essentially what I'm doing here is removing the brake pedal because this needs to be worked on as well. It's gone very stuck and it doesn't return properly. So it needs to come off, it all needs to be cleaned up, needs new seals in it, and hopefully that will fix the problem. Once this pedal is off, we'll be able to get the forward and reverse pedal off. This is the bolt which holds the shaft on. It's the same shaft for the clutch and the brake pedals, but I think it is pretty much seized in there anyway, but it doesn't matter because you don't have to remove it. Now, this part here, well, as you can probably tell because I haven't rust treated it, is the forward and reverse pedal. When it was on the machine, it wouldn't even return to the centre, making it very dangerous. So you'd go forwards and it'd be like cruise control. It would stay down. You have to stamp on reverse to get the tractor to stop. So I wasn't messing about with trying to fix this. The bushes have totally worn out. Things have snapped off it. It just has to be replaced with a brand new one. And it is definitely going to make it much better. So that gets that part out of the way. The next problem is the pin which is holding the pedal on is stuck. Hopefully that does it. I should be able to get a punch in there later on to be able to knock out the rest of it. When everything is so rusty, it just makes the entire job much harder. Almost there. But it's still getting caught on various things, so I'm going to have to remove something here. Right, so I decided to remove this part here. It's basically just a split pin. So just pull it out. It needs replacing anyway because it needs sandblasting. So that's coming off eventually. And that now means that the pedal will just pull off. If only things were that simple. Hey, we got there in the end. And now we are moving on to working on the back of the tractor, hopefully getting everything sanded down. This is the underside of the tractor. This was the worst place. I've gone over it with a wire brush for about half an hour, or maybe even more actually, and again it's now got a very thick layer of rust converter on it. It's eating away at it, and in a second I'll show you it close up. So as you can see, in fact, before your eyes it is changing colour. But if I zoom in, you should be able to see it fizzing and popping, eating through the rust. Very satisfying. But it needs to, because it's very rusty under here, but not for much longer. This is all going to be primed and painted, and it should look almost as good as new. That's the plan. Overall though, it's just very dirty. This is the back. Again, plenty of rust converter on here. Busy eating away at it all, and eventually I'll be able to prime this as well. There is some warmer weather here at the moment, so that's going to really help move things along. Recently it's been like -4, which is terrible. And guess what? That is another day done. So there's about a week's worth of footage here in 10 minutes, just over. You wouldn't believe it, but there really is. It's a slow process. One of the last things I need to do today is remove the wheels. I'm going to remove both of them, and we can get them out of the way. I've actually been able to buy 2 more. They're partially worn, I suppose, but they're very good. So I don't have to buy any new ones, which is fantastic news. So with the wheel finally out of the way, this is the hub behind it. It's very rusty, but there's no leaks, which is always a bonus. So it's going to be another case of sanding it down, getting it all primed, converted, everything, getting it all really good. Ready for the top layer of Kubota dark grey it will be. And there it is. I've just cleaned the work area. It looks a bit neater. It's definitely looking much smaller than it used to, especially when it's sat on the axle stands. But I don't know how many hours I've put into this so far, but I'd guess it's probably about 24 hours. So we're not really that far into the project yet, but it's progressing incredibly slowly. But I'm hoping now, since all the wire brushing is done at the back, I'll now be able to crack on and do more of the building up again, because we now need to build the back up from where it is at the moment. But that is it for today. Hopefully you've enjoyed the video, and I should be back within the next few weeks with part number 6. Until then, thanks for watching, and hope to see you again very soon. Bye for now.